play La Bamba, Oil Country. Your Edmonton Oilers have a 1-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup Final after Leon Draisaitl's heroics in overtime on the power play. An absolute gift from Florida. A delay of game penalty is what it took for Edmonton to finally score on the power play, and the Oilers have a 1-0 series lead. 3 more wins to glory. And this game, I'm going to be honest, this game was never in doubt. Those of you that tuned into the live stream, of course, thank you all so much. There was a lot of people that tuned into the live stream. We had over 10,000 views on the live stream, 1,600 watched hours. Oh my goodness gracious. Almost $100 worth of donations and gifted memberships. Of course, I gifted 10 memberships myself. So anyone that tuned into the stream, anyone that donated, anyone that tuned in and hit like on the stream, anyone that commented, or if you're just one of those people that likes to lurk and kind of just read the chat, thank you all so much for your continued support. We hit 6,300 subscribers. Oh my goodness, we are buzzing tonight. What a hockey game. But it didn't start off super good. Of course, it started off really good. Leon Draisaitl, he opened the scoring just over a minute in, makes it 1-0 Edmonton. But then the penalty trouble starts happening. Bennett scores off of a play that the Oilers challenged for goaltender interference, and I agreed with the challenge. I thought Sam Bennett went a little too easily into Stuart Skinner, but the officials decided, you know what? There was too much contact from Brett Kulak to ignore. They determined that the Oilers' defense, completely influenced Bennett falling into Skinner. I don't agree with that. I think Sam Bennett doesn't get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to goaltender interference or not, considering how many times he's thrown that little forearm shiver into a goaltender's head, knocked out Stolars. He also hit Frederik Andersen, and now he's hit Stuart Skinner. Oh, crap. Hold on. I got the victory chain. Don't worry. I would never forget it. I would never forget the victory chain. Come on. I was wearing it at the end of the game. Come on, folks. But the Oilers, they hang on. The Florida Panthers, they score. The Oilers fail the challenge, and then they have to go on the penalty kill, right? So Florida, they didn't score on the power play. Brad Marchand makes it 2-1 Florida. And then early in the third period, Sam Bennett with his second goal of the game, because the first goal went off of him, even though he fell into Skinner and whatever you want to call for goal interference. It doesn't matter. Florida, Bennett, breakaway, 3-1 Panthers. Now, the Panthers, heading into this game, had never lost a game under Paul Maurice in the playoffs when they're leading after 1. But the Oilers, they went, you know what? We have the Panthers right where we want them. And if you were tuning into the live stream, when Florida made it 3-1, I told the live chat, I told everyone, I was like, Edmonton has Florida right where they want them. We know the Oilers are good at comebacks. We know that this team is a third period team. We've seen it throughout the entire playoffs. We saw it throughout the regular season. The Oilers, the more, the longer a game progresses, the more adjustments they make and the better they start to play. I'm sorry, by the way, my voice is completely shot. I was screaming at the top of my lungs at Draisaitl's OT goal, but we will get to that. But Viktor Arvidsson, after Bennett made it 3-1, Arvidsson just a minute later, he makes it a 3-2 game with an absolute clap bomb, and for some reason Bobrovsky went right between his arm and his pad. That made it a 3-2 game. Ekholm ties the game early in the third period, and then Draisaitl on the power play in overtime for an Oilers squad that refuses to go down. They refuse to quit. They have a 1-0 series lead, which is obviously much better than what we saw last year against the Panthers, because early in that series, we know the Oilers lost their first 3 games. Draisaitl never had a goal in the finals last year. He has 2 goals in game 1. The Oilers also got depth scoring. Arvidsson getting a goal. Ekholm getting a goal. Ekholm obviously being healthy is absolutely massive right now. Huge game for Edmonton. So far, after 1 game, they locked down their, home ice. They're protecting home ice. And game 2 on Friday, we know this series is going to get even crazier. So buckle in, folks. It's going to be a long series. We're going to take a look at the edge visualizer for the Oilers goals. I'm going to take a look at the money puck just to see, who had the edge in chances and expected goals. Of course, we're going to talk about Stuart Skinner's game, which I thought was terrific, right? I don't really blame Stu on any single goal tonight. Stuart Skinner, of course, he gave up that 3rd goal, but just like Calvin Pickard earlier in the playoffs, he'll give up that 3rd goal, but Stuart Skinner, he channeled that inner Grant Fuhr and went, you know what? I'm not giving up another goal tonight. Florida pressed early in that overtime. They pressed a little bit later before the Oilers' power play. Stuart Skinner locked things down. We have to give a lot of credit to Stu tonight. I thought he played a very good game for Edmonton. He had over a .900 save percentage. That's all we ask for in Oil Country. And Stu absolutely delivered. Let's take a look at the edge visualizer for the Oilers' goals. Now, like I said, Draisaitl got things started for Edmonton. The Oilers, Draisaitl, Kapanen, Kane, they get on the forecheck. Draisaitl across the ice. It comes to Wallman with an absolute blast. Rebound in front off of Kapanen's shot, and Draisaitl puts it into the wide open cage. Great goal for Leon. That made it 1-0 Edmonton. And then Arvidsson, this is where he makes it a one-goal game. Florida was pressing. They were up 3-1. Here's Bouchard, though. Nice pass to Podkolzin. Podkolzin walks it in, drops to Arvidsson. Now look at this play here by Podkolzin. He gets just enough in the area of Bobrovsky, that screen, that flying screen where a player is, that moving screen, I guess is what I would call it. And as Arvidsson's shooting, Podkolzin gets out of the way. I think that bothered Bobrovsky just enough for Arvidsson to put that puck into the net. That made it a 3-2 game. And then Ekholm's first goal of the postseason in the third period. McDavid did a little shimmy shake fake at the blue line. He played it to Kapanen, who put it down low to McDavid. McDavid centered it out in front. Now, everyone said McDavid was trying to center it to Evander Kane. I think he intentionally hit Mattias Ekholm with this pass. I do believe that this was an intentional pass to Ekholm, and Ekholm wastes no time at all. He just one-times that over the glove of Bobrovsky. That ties the game early in the third, and the Oilers really did control. Now, before I get to the overtime winner on the power play, if you take a look at the shots on goal in this game, it was a very ebbs and flows game, up and down, right? The first period, even though the Oilers were down 2-1 heading to the second, I thought Edmonton controlled the majority of that first period. I thought they had the better chances. I thought they had the better looks. Florida capitalized on a couple opportunities. My apologies. Excuse me. And then in the second period, Florida really, they were all over Edmonton. The Oilers were struggling with just simple breakouts, and that makes sense. The way Florida plays, if you are not properly breaking the puck out, if you just keep going off the glass and out, that's where Florida will make you pay. They'll dump it back in. Their forecheckers get in on the defense, and they put the pressure on. And because of the long change, it is really difficult to get your change, get fresh legs out. But that third period for Edmonton, they had a mission. They outshot the Panthers 14-2 in that third period. An unbelievable third for Edmonton. They probably could have had 2 or 3 goals, but Bobrovsky, holy smokes. Can we talk about Bobrovsky for a second, Panthers fans? What a game from Sergei. Obviously, you want the win as a Panthers fan, but listen, the Oilers, they had so many looks, and Sergei Bobrovsky is the only reason why I think this game was not completely out of reach. What a game from Sergei, even though I also believe Stu had a good game for Edmonton. In the OT, the Oilers outshot Florida 10-6. Bad penalty to take. If you're the Panthers, I don't even remember who took it. Let's scroll down. It was Tomas Nosek. Delay of game, puck over the glass. Now, he was being pressured, but I don't think that was a very good penalty to take. I'm pretty sure he had lots of time to make a play. The Panthers ended up ending this game with 3 straight penalties, and the Oilers took nothing after the first period. Look at all the penalties called in the first, and then basically nothing after the first period. You love NHL officiating. So consistent. We'll watch Draisaitl's goal now. McDavid brings it in. He finds Nugent Hopkins. Now watch this play. He plays it back to Bouchard. Watch Corey Perry. He's in the middle of the ice. Watch this. Now Bouchard, he'll give it to Nuge. And then Nuge, he's going to get pressured. Look at the aggression off Florida here. Look at Seth Jones on this play. Look at Marchand. Nugent Hopkins does such a good job. Now, they want Nuge to put it back to Bouch or try and put the puck across the ice to Draisaitl. Nuge knows this. Nuge is smart. He goes, I'm going to see if I can reverse this along the half wall. He does, and now Corey Perry, the puck lands on his stick, and he holds the puck for about a second, maybe a second. It might have even been less than a second. Finds McDavid, and now look at this. Look at Barkov. He is all alone playing defense here because you have Mikkola and Seth Jones in this right circle, and that leaves Draisaitl all alone. This is how you can expose the Florida Panthers penalty kill. They are aggressive. They're going to try and force mistakes, but if you can kind of get your puck into an area, you can find open space. McDavid wastes no time. Draisaitl with the one-timer. He just absolutely rifles it by Sergei Bobrovsky. Everyone jumps off the bench. Look at Connor Brown. He's the first one to skate towards Stuart Skinner. Huge game from Stu. We'll take a look at the box score for your Edmonton Oilers and the Panthers, of course. For the Panthers, Bennett had 2 goals, Verhaeghe 2 assists. If you take a look at their defense as well, Nate Schmidt had 2 assists for Florida. Look at that. That's pretty good for Nate Schmidt. No goals from Florida's defense. They do activate a lot, but no goals this time. Sergei Bobrovsky finishes with a .913 save percentage. Great game from Sergei Bobrovsky. If you look at the time on ice, though, look at Gadjevich and Boqvist and Nosek. Not a whole lot of time in almost 4 periods of play. It'll be interesting to see if they keep going top heavy as the series progresses. You have Ekblad and Forsling and Jones play over 30 minutes in this one. Schmidt and Kulikov under 20. Again, we saw the Kings kind of do something similar, not quite like the Kings were a lot worse in how they played their number 6 and 5 D-man. They were really bad at playing their 4th line. Like, I'm pretty sure the one game LA played their 4th line like 2.5 minutes or something. But as the series progresses, you might start to see fatigue set in for guys like Ekblad, Forsling, and Seth Jones. They are absolute units. It's going to be difficult to imagine this team getting tired in Florida. But if you're the Oilers, you have to be happy with the response tonight. Even though you're down 3-1, this team does not give up. They understand what they have to do to get the job done. Take a look at the Oilers. Draisaitl, 2 goals, massive. He did not score a goal in the Stanley Cup Final last year. He was injured. Probably a wrist injury. He had broken ribs, but Draisaitl this time around, he's ready to go. Kapanen, cheeks clapping in, played 20 minutes tonight, and he had 2 assists. What a game from Kasperi Kapanen. What an absolute unit he has become. The Oilers continue to get depth scoring. They continue to get depth in terms of point production. Arvidsson with a goal, Corey Perry an assist, Podkolzin an assist. You love to see that. And if we look at the ice time, nobody under 13 minutes for Edmonton. So even though, yes, they are top heavy with their top players, they don't go super top heavy, right? Knoblauch is comfortable rolling his lines a certain way, which you love to see. Now, when it comes to the defense, Bouchard +2 with an assist, Ekholm with a goal +2. Wallman had an assist. He was a -1. And if we take a look at the ice time here, nobody under 22 minutes for Edmonton on defense. Wallman played the least amount, but I actually thought he had a pretty good game. He had 5 shots on goal. I thought Wallman had a great game. He had a very eventful game. He blocked a few shots. He was in a lot of pain. It seemed like every time he was going to the bench, he's talking to the trainer. He's like, oh my God, my arm. Oh my God, my leg. It was so funny. I love Wallman. Listen, he's an absolute monster. He's a warrior. He's going to be just fine, Oilers fans. Do not worry about Jake Wallman, all right? Now, when it comes to Stuart Skinner's game, a .906 save percentage. You love to see that. And if we take a look at the advanced stats here, I'm sure the Oilers are going to be ahead in the expected goals department. Yes, they are. The deserved winner meter is heavily in favor of Edmonton. It was in favor of Florida after that second period. But as the game progresses, and I talk a lot about this in my pregame report, in my series preview, the longer a game goes, the Oilers never get tired, right? They just constantly wave after wave after wave. They don't get tired. They continue to push the pace of play. And Florida, I wouldn't say they look tired, but the Oilers completely took over this hockey game. And if the expected goals in all situations is anything to go by, the Oilers with 4.65, the Panthers 3.71. If we go 5-on-5, it was basically dead even, right? What a dead even hockey game. This game came down to special teams at the end of the day. The Panthers, they were all over Edmonton early in that overtime, but Stuart Skinner, he locked things down when he had to, which was absolutely key. Expected goals in all situations. Corey Perry led the way. Draisaitl, Kapanen, McDavid, Wallman, Nuge, Bouchard, Klingberg, Kane. Only a few Oilers were under 50%. And Nurse, Henrik Brown, I guess, the eye test kind of really did show that Henrik Brown and Frederick did struggle. Hopefully they're able to rebound by next game. Connor Brown was given a lot of shifts with the top 6 in that third period and overtime. If we take a look at the 5-on-5 play, does that improve at all? No, it doesn't really, actually. Connor Brown, he didn't have a great game, but he's not 100%. He's sick, right? I think he's dealing with something. If you look at the Panthers, Ekblad, Forsling, those are the 2 defensemen they rely on the most. If the Oilers can continue to keep this type of play against those 2 defensemen all series, Edmonton will come out on top in this one. Bennett, 2 points. Verhaeghe, Schmidt, Marchand, Rodrigue. Matthew Tkachuk had an assist as well. Although I would argue Matthew Tkachuk probably had a pretty quiet game overall. I didn't think he was super effective in his game. And if you look at Stu Skinner, 0.71 goals saved above expected, a plus 0.71 goals saved above expected. An absolute massive game from Stuart Skinner. You love to see that. Now, of course, at the end of these videos, I do answer questions and comments from the fans on Twitter or X.com. And of course, the Discord. Now, I don't answer everyone's comments, but I will pick out a few. Historical memes sent in. Edmonton leaned on them in the end, out-hit them. Amazing game. Did they out-hit them? According to NHL.com, oh boy, 51-51 were the hits. I do like Edmonton's physicality. Florida was 1 for 2 on the power play. The Oilers were 1 for 4. I'd like to see a little bit of improvement in Edmonton's power play. You know Florida probably gets a few more power plays in game 2. We'll have to take a look at how it goes. BMax says, hashtag never in doubt. Tyler says, what a game. BMax also says, let's do this for Himes and Ben, right? Fight like Ben, fight like a kid. I wear this every single time. Also, Ben Stelter Foundation, link in the description below if anyone ever wants to support them. What was my heart rate at says Hallidays. I'm pretty sure it hit about 160 on the OT winner. Someone will have to let me know. And then, of course, we'll scroll down. Gio says, how did you think of John Klingberg's game tonight? Would you like to see Stetcher in the series? Overall, I liked Stetcher. I didn't think he made too many mistakes. I thought Stetcher had a strong game. I didn't think he had a great game, but he did not have a bad game. I liked Stetcher. I liked Edmonton's D overall tonight. You know, there's only a couple plays where I was really concerned, but overall, I liked Edmonton's game a lot. Wyatt says Stu was clutch. Absolutely, he was. You love to see that. Now, if we head to the Discord server, the post-game questions or comments, I just have to scroll up a bit where I sent in the post. Here we go. Talkative Introvert says how high the heart rate monitor get. I think it was around 160. Jonathan says, Draisaitl making sure this year is different. Skinner started off shaky, but holy moly, did he keep his team in the game. Massive props to him. Got to take care of home ice in game 2. Let's go. Couldn't have said it better myself. Erica says, I feel bad for missing 1.5 streams in a row. I'm sorry. Hey, you never have to apologize for living your life, right? Life is more important than hockey. I love that, you feel like you should be part of these streams and the content, and that makes me, humbled every single day. I appreciate that, but you just remember, don't feel pressured to tune into the content consistently, right? If you tune into one video a week, one video a month, one video a year, it doesn't matter. You're still supporting the channel. So thank you. Ren says, I called it. Leon goal. Holy crap. I love this team. I think I'm having a stroke. Hey, listen, we got to breathe tonight, right? Have some water. We got to breathe. I mean, I know we're all buzzing, but what a great game from Edmonton. Brent says, what a beautiful, stressful game. The true question is how we fix our mistakes to win game 2 in regular play. Of course, you want the Oilers to win in regulation. Overtime, very, very stressful for a lot of fans, including myself. However, the Oilers, again, it just comes down to making the right decisions with the puck on defense, making sure you're getting clean outlets. Don't go off the glass and out. If you're putting the puck off the glass, Florida will steal it in the neutral zone. They'll dump it back in, and then they get in aggressively on the forecheck. Overall, I liked Edmonton's game. Yes, there are things that they can improve on. I'll talk about that in the day after discussion tomorrow. Now, this is something that I assumed was going to be asked. How do you feel about Coach Knobloch's challenge? I feel like if he didn't do that, Edmonton would have won in regulation. Stu was great tonight. Number 1, yes, Stu was amazing tonight. Number 2, I like Knobloch's challenge. I don't give Sam Bennett the benefit of the doubt at all. I just don't. These are professional players. They make contact with each other all the time. I think Bennett fell a little too easily into Stuart Skinner. However, in saying that, and in fairness to Panthers fans that may be tuning in or Oilers haters, I understand why they decided not to overturn it. You need clear evidence to overturn the call on the ice. Call on the ice was a goal. Was there enough evidence to overturn it? Now, in my opinion, yes, but I understand the argument from the officials. I haven't read the actual description of why they didn't overturn it. Obviously, it was an unfortunate situation. Florida, they got all the momentum in the first period after that. I think the Oilers are going to be just fine. Don't give the Panthers anything easy. Corey Perry also has to stay out of the box moving forward. Kaylee says, Stu locking in second and third period. How did you find the line matchups? I think Edmonton was rolling their lines. I love what they did tonight. I love Chris Knobloch. He has so much confidence, and you can tell the players also feel that as well. And the last question of the night comes from Zach. I was getting a little worried at the end of the first. Do we need to show up like we did against Vegas, being super aggressive? The Panthers will cheat to win. Now, listen, at the end of the day, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right? I don't know who famously said that. The Florida Panthers are going to do everything they can to take advantage of certain situations on the ice. If you're the Edmonton Oilers, you can do the same thing. You can find a way to do the same thing. The Oilers got away with quite a few missed calls tonight. It comes down to gamesmanship. It comes down to who has the will to get the job done, and it comes down to who has the most patience, right? I think the Oilers are in a good spot right now. That is it from me. This is my post-game fan reaction. Thank you all so much. I know there's probably going to be a lot of new viewers tonight. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. If you really liked it, subscribe to the channel. Day after discussion tomorrow. And of course, on Friday morning, we're going to have the pregame report. Friday night, I'll be back streaming for Game 2. I cannot wait. As always, before the end of these videos, whenever you can, make sure you tell someone that you love them. And as always, fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. 3 more wins, Oil Country. 3 more. Let's go. The job's not done. Let's get it done.